Hi, this is Dr. Mike Van Thielen. This video is about choosing health freedom. All of us need to make a paradigm shift and learn what health and disease really is so we can regain control of our health. See, humans are different from animals in the wild. Animals in the wild, they have an instinct and they act according to the laws of Mother Nature in their best interest and in the best interest of their species. Now humans have an awareness. We have the freedom to choose our response, and that's probably our greatest power. And as stated in the Spider-Man movie, with great power comes great, yes, responsibility. And responsibility is nothing but the ability to respond. The choices we make are based upon our values, habits, independent will, self-awareness, imagination, and conditioning. And when it comes to our health, we have been negatively conditioned. The CDC, or the Centers for Disease Control, proclaimed, quote, "This is the first generation in which parents will outlive their children," end quote. That's a very alarming statistic, isn't it? The question is, will you and your loved ones be part of this statistic? And quite frankly, the choice is yours. We need to choose health freedom. Health freedom is the freedom we all have to either choose to be sick and sad or to be healthy and happy. We can't blame our doctors or healthcare professionals. We can't blame the government or the fake news. We can't blame our parents. We need to take responsibility for ourselves and our loved ones and choose health freedom. We need to make a paradigm shift. We need to learn about health and disease from another perspective. First, health is the norm and disease the exception. Health is the normal, natural state of all organic existence. It is spontaneous and the result of the normal operation of the organs and functions of the living body. One of the many laws of human life is the law of self-preservation. From the smallest microscopic single cell to the most complex living organism, every particle of living matter is under the control of a vital force or life energy and is endowed with the instinct of self-preservation. All living matter will do whatever it takes in a very well organized manner to preserve life and its species or race. Our human body constantly strives for perfect health, always and all the time. Disease is indeed the exception. It has been a misconception also. We have been taught since youth that disease is the enemy and that this enemy needs to be conquered through drugs and surgery. Failing body parts are removed, organs and systems are poisoned, and cells are destroyed by the toxic chemicals we call pharmaceuticals. Our health impairs further and more drugs are prescribed and swallowed to suppress the additional symptoms of imbalance in the body and to counteract the toxic side effects of the initial drugs. This is a vicious, detrimental cycle that has taken over, and we enter our golden years crippled and sick. The misconception here is that disease is a demon from the outside harassing us. Disease is not an attack from the external environment. It's merely a state of health, an outward manifestation of an internal imbalance. It's an attempt of the body to return to normal, perfect health. Let's illustrate this concept with a few examples. If our body creates a fever to speed up metabolism and fight a pathogen, a virus or a bug, is it prudent to ingest a drug to suppress that fever? Is it prudent to immerse in cold water? If we sprain our ankle and our body creates swelling and inflammation to initiate the healing process, is it prudent to apply ice and counteract the body's attempt to heal? Is osteoporosis a disease crying for drugs? Or is it the end result of the body robbing the bones of alkaline minerals to buffer the acids ingested from years of improper diet? Do we suffer from aspirin or Prozac or Coumadin deficiency? Do we suffer from acupuncture or chiropractic deficiency? Do we suffer from surgery deficiency? The answer to all these questions is a definite no. The origin or cause of disease is not an enemy from the outside, but an internal act of physiology by the body in an attempt to stay alive or in perfect health. We conclude that health is the norm and disease the exception. Next, there is no disease, only symptoms. I'll illustrate this with an example. Poor eating habits cause digestive problems. In these early stages, we see attacks of indigestion and gastritis, like stomach sickness, acid reflux, nausea, and vomiting. Nervous people may present with nervous symptoms such as headaches and insomnia, while some women may exhibit symptoms of painful menstruation also. We can prescribe Nexium, that purple pill, or Maalox, or any other antacid. But these will only mask the symptoms because we are not addressing the cause of these symptoms, which are the poor eating habits. So the irritation continues, and prolonged irritation will cause inflammation, and prolonged inflammation then causes more serious symptoms, which may include food retention, anemia, infections, and ulceration. So now we may end up with a stomach ulcer. We have ignored the warning signs of our body, which was the vomiting, the acid reflux, the nausea, etc. And the medicines we took just masked some of the symptoms while the situation worsened all along. The stomach ulcer can be surgically removed, but yet again, the cause is not addressed. Eventually, the chronic inflammation results in thickening and hardening of the mucous membrane of the stomach, ending up in stomach cancer at last. When we look at this example, we can conclude several things. First, and most importantly, we can stop this disease process at any time by taking away the cause, the bad eating habits. And science can study pathology till doomsday without shedding any light on the cause. Physicians should know that these early stages of disease are purely functional and that no interference is necessary. When the irritation stops, normal functioning is resumed. However, when irritation continues, the pathology evolves. Instead, intervention causes simple acid reflux to turn into a deadly stomach cancer. So let me ask you, will drugs to stop vomiting or anti-inflammatory drugs help in the early stages? Will surgically removing a stomach ulcer be beneficial? Of course not. It's a waste of time. It's a pure symptomatic treatment, most likely aggravating and worsening the pathology by interfering with the body's healing process. That's why we don't remove gallbladders, tonsils, and appendices just because they are inflamed. Second, the stomach pain, indigestion, poor appetite, headache, nausea, vomiting, gastritis, anemia, stomach ulcers, intestinal ulcers, internal bleeding, cancer, etc., they are all just symptoms. They are all expressions and attempts of our body to expel the toxins. If the cause and irritation is not taken away, the symptoms and pathology simply evolve. These symptoms are not a disease. For example, a stomach ulcer is not a disease, it's a symptom. And studying these symptoms is a waste of time, and treating them also. The same holds true for every other pathology and disease process in our body. Another way to illustrate this is autopsies. Autopsies are performed to find out what? The cause of death, right? Now let's say the cause of death is cancer. Well, cancer is not the cause of death. It's merely the last symptom. The cause of death is decades of abuse to the body, poor lifestyle, and eating habits. Let's say the cause of death is a heart attack. Again, the heart attack is just the last symptom, and it's not the cause of death. The cause is poor lifestyle habits. We can conclude that there is no disease, only symptoms, and that these symptoms are merely attempts of the body to restore health and don't need any treatment or interference. Next, there is only one cause of all disease, and that's toxemia. We have a separate video on toxemia, so please refer to that video for more information. When we want to regain control of our health, we need to understand that only the body can heal itself. I'm quite sure you understand that our body is immensely complex and ingenious, but can you really grasp the complexity of our creation? We can build a rocket ship and put a man on the moon, and we can build and control a nuclear plant, not always though, but we are far from understanding the human body. So let's briefly discuss health on a cellular level. Our body has an estimated 50 to 100 trillion cells. That's more than the stars in our galaxy. Now, each and every one of these cells performs a few million chemical reactions per second. So if you want to know how many chemical reactions there occur in our body at any given second, we simply need to multiply 50 to 100 trillion with a few million. Next time somebody asks you if you're busy, you simply answer, yes, extremely. Now, each cell has approximately 100,000 receptors on its outer membrane, and the RNA, or the messenger of the cell, will continuously tell these receptors what the cell needs in order to carry out all its functions and replenish, repair, and renew itself. For example, the cell may need vitamin C, so the RNA will inform the receptors to get some vitamin C. But if due to our standard American diet, or SAD, that vitamin C or other essential nutrients is not available, then the cell is forced to utilize less potent, incompatible nutrients. And what happens if we replace an original with a copy and keep making copies of copies? We can't read it anymore, right? Same thing happens on a cellular level, and we end up with degeneration and mutation, which then translates into disease and cancer. So what did we learn here? We learned that as long as we provide our body with all the essential nutrients on a regular basis, the cells can stay healthy and function optimally, and we can prevent any disease, right? So we don't have to be health freaks, and it's okay to eat the occasional comfort food, but we need to assure that our body receives all the essential nutrients daily. As you can now understand the complexity of our human body, do you really believe we are meant to interfere with this creation? Do you believe we are supposed to ingest man-made foods and poisons and drugs to intoxicate that great gift? Do you think we are supposed to remove limbs and organs to benefit our body? Of course not. Do you think we need to understand the complexity of all the functions and processes of the body? The answer is no. And even if we wanted to, we simply cannot and will never be able to comprehend the complexity and magnitude of the workings of our body. All we need to do is realize that our body knows what it's doing. The body and every living cell in it, always from birth to death, will strive for perfect health. All we need to do is listen to our body and put our body in the right conditions. So how do we regain control of our health? How do we achieve optimal health? How do we put our body in the right conditions so it can heal itself? And what are those right conditions? Well, I came up with an acronym. We need to live clean. C stands for controlling your emotions and negative feelings. L stands for listening to the warning signs of your body. E stands for enough rest, sleep, and sunshine. A stands for active lifestyle, but no overstimulation and no overindulgences. And N stands for natural and clean, air, water, and food. For more details on my 5 clean living principles, please watch the video. With this newly acquired knowledge about health and disease, you need to take action. You need to take responsibility. You need to empower yourself, and you need to regain control of your health. For more information on fibromyalgia and an easy to implement action plan to put fibromyalgia into remission, please visit my website, mikevantielen.com.